What's going on, boys? It's Daddy Big here, and I want to welcome you back to the series where I talk about boycotting massive corporations and the potential moral ramifications of that action. I'm guessing many of you are familiar with the whole thing that's been going on with Activision recently. It's a bit of a situation. Basically, they're throwing out cease and desist note letters like it's candy, and on Halloween is what's going on. A bunch of independent third-party projects have been going on. Like, I don't remember what it. Gosh, let me see. I don't remember what it was called, but well, one of them was a mod client for Black Ops 3 to make the game stable online, and the other one was SM2. That's what it's called, SM2, which was essentially just a game made by fans. That was just I don't know that much about it, to be clear, but it was a Call of Duty thing. Like, they used COD assets. It wasn't like they were taking money for it or anything. And like I said, from what I understand, I don't know that much about the situation, but I know that it was another cease and desist situation. And to the community, this is just innocent stuff. Like, if especially when Activision releases games that don't work and seems to not care about fixing old games, which is the situation with Black Ops 3. The online system doesn't work. It's very insecure for, your information and all that, from what I understand. And, the community is trying to fix these problems, because there's a community of people that are passionate about these games, including me, when it comes to zombies, at least. But Activision clearly does not want to allow other people to do these things with their properties, which is somewhat reminiscent of things Nintendo has done in the past with, copyright striking and taking down creators and all of that. So, I guess this has got me thinking, right? I was originally just going to do a news video talking about it, but I'm not informed enough to really give substantial news. I've heard it from other sources. I'm not an expert on the topic by any means. I want to talk about more the question of, is this a situation where we should be boycotting Activision in a way? Like, let me explain, right? So, I mean, when it comes, like, for example, when Silksong comes out, if it ever comes out, when Hollow Knight Silksong comes out, like, that's a game I would pre-order. I would get that because I know that the developer is, that makes good games and cares about their stuff. It's the same with, like, and technically I borrowed someone else's cartridge, but like Tears of the Kingdom, that was a game that I wanted to play day one because, I trust that it's going to be a good game. And, for another example, like, if a developer like Relogic or Concerned Ape, Terraria and Stardew Valley respectively, make a new game, I'm just going to buy it because I'm going to be interested in what they make. But out of all my favorite games, Zombies is the one where I have no interest at all in buying new games. I don't want to buy new Activision games because it just so happens that I like these older games. I like it for the zombies, to be clear, but I don't. Activision is a pretty horrible company when it comes to games. I think we can all agree on that. In the realm of EA at this point, and I don't want to spend $100 on a piece of garbage, and I'll wait. And if it has a good zombies, then maybe I'll pick it up. But, like, that's just kind of sad, But I guess now that all these problems are happening, then Activision is really trying their best to make everyone in the community not like them even more than usual, that really raises the question of, should I just stop playing Call of Duty entirely? Should I just give up on making zombies content and just focus on, like, Terraria and other games I like? And I guess there are a couple different situations I could bring up here. I mean, it's like with musical artists, I think the biggest example right now is probably Kanye West. Obviously, he has said just horrible, deplorable things, and everyone no one, like, you can't say that you like Kanye without getting put on blast now. And to be clear, I'm not defending him at all, right? I was never a fan, and I'm just talking generally here. You'll get put on blast, and I think rightfully so, because it gets to that point where, that level of art where it's a musician, it's more about that person. It's not a faceless corporation. So it makes total sense that, we would boycott his music because of the way that he is and why companies would drop him from sponsorship deals and all of that. That all makes sense. And me personally, like at this point, after having heard all that, I have no interest in checking out his music because it would just leave a sour taste in my mouth knowing the things that he's done. Another example is recently, for the first time, I watched The Shining by Stanley Kubrick, and there was this whole scandal that came out after the film was released. I think it was in the 80s, but he basically abused his actors to the point where, them acting like they were scared was not enough for him. He needed, to be clear, The Shining is a horror movie, for those of you who don't know. He abused them and pushed them to the brink so far that they started exhibiting actual terror and panic. And in one scene in particular where her name was Shelley Duvall, the female lead actress, he made her and the other male lead shoot that scene over 100 times. I think the number was 127. And that whole scene required Duvall to just scream nonstop. And it got to the point where like she damaged her voice and all this stuff, and like it ruined her career. And she was targeted more so than the other actors by Stanley Kubrick. And I guess like when I found this out, that really just made me hate I hate the film anyways. I think it's terrible. Don't get me started because I'll go on a rant. But just knowing that the director did that, that again, like that puts a sour taste in my mouth. I don't want to be a part of that. It's hard to watch the movie when you know that these actors have been abused that you're watching, and you just have to pretend like it's fine or whatever. And yeah, so like those are just a couple examples, and I think you get what I mean. But for zombies it's different because I really enjoy zombies. And I guess here's the thing, right? It's kind of another thing I could bring up is something like, I work at Jimmy John's, and sometimes I mention that and people are like, oh my gosh, you know that the CEO of Jimmy John's poaches animals? And it's like, I think that guy they were talking about is not the CEO anymore. Again, I don't really know the specifics, but we could just treat this as a hypothetical anyways. For me personally, it's like, I just work there, I care about the people at my store. Like I work with good people in my own little community. And like realistically, even if I quit my job, it's just going to affect me. It's not like I'm making some big statement by boycotting Jimmy John's. Like if the CEO doesn't care, someone will fill my place, It's like that's how those corporations work. Is if I boycott working at Jimmy John's, someone else is just going to be in my position, and there will be I will have made no reason, like actual tangible effect. So like there's no reason to worry about that. There's no reason for me to quit my job just because some guy way up in the corporate ladder did something bad. So that's kind of my take on that. But that really gets into Activision too, is, here's the thing. I've already, I don't want to support them more by buying their games if I don't have to, or buying their microtransactions, right? I don't want to support them at all if I don't have to. But I've already bought these old games, and I'm not spending more money. And clearly they don't care if people play these old games anyways. So, to me, again, it's kind of the matter of, if I boycott the Black Ops 1 through 3 and World of War games, it's like, all I'm going to do is just, have less content to make and just have less games to play, So, as far as boycotting things go, I feel as though it's very situational. If it's something that's on a very personal level, the director of a movie, a musical artist, something where you can put a face to these things, that's hard, right? That's harder. That's hard. Like, if it were to come out that, some, like, for example, like Toby Fox, if it were to come out that Toby Fox got into some huge controversy, turned out he was a horrible person, that would make it harder to play Undertale. It would. But when it comes to something like Jimmy John's or like Activision, it's a faceless corporation, you know. All clearly, like Activision, all they care about is their bottom line. All they care about is making money. And yeah, there are people behind that, but it's different. You know, it's a team of people, and you know, it's a business thing. I mean, it's like even at the highest level, they owe things to the shareholders, and that makes it just all gets complicated. And like I said already, I already have these games, and I guess in a way I already am boycotting Activision products because I'm not buying their new stuff because I have no faith that they'll make anything good anymore, you know? And again, I want to make it clear, right? I'm only talking about Activision, not the actual game developers like Treyarch. I mean, Treyarch has been forced bad hands by Activision many times in the development of their games. And I do think that especially in these older games like Black Ops 2 and 3, I think that there was a lot of passion from the game developers. That's not about them. This isn't about them, right? I'm talking about Activision. Then, of course, and the great thing about Activision too is it's really easy to hate on them because there is no specific person you're talking about. There is no face to act. I mean, there's a CEO, I'm sure, but it's different than like with Treyarch. Like we have faces like Jason Blundell, you know, people that we can identify with. But with Activision, it's just some greedy corporation that we can't see. All we see is what they do to us, you know. So, like I said, I made my point that there's really no point in boycotting the old games, but I think I will definitely not be buying new Activision games because, like I already said, I have no faith in them. And you know, maybe Treyarch will pump out some good zombies someday, and at that point, you know, I might buy it again just to play the zombies. But again, that's all I care about. All I care about is zombies, and to me, the old zombies games is about those games, about the way things were back then, about the community now. And that's all I need. You know, I'm not going to be over dramatic and stop playing these old games just because Activision did something bad now. You know, it's not that deep in my opinion to like I said, all that's going to happen is I'll have less videos to make, fewer games to play, you know? So I think I made my point, but I'm curious to see what you guys think down below. So let me seriously, like, I know YouTubers say that, but I really would be interested to hear what you guys think about the whole Activision situation, as well as your thoughts on buying their new games or playing their old games. And yeah, in any case, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.